O'clock. I'm Randall Baxter. I'm the president of Asset Positioning Services. And we're going to talk a little bit today about the difference between 2023 and what I expect to have happen in 2024, which all of you are going to be involved in, the ones that choose to participate. So I want you to know the difference. And Steve and Jay and Greg. Lisa, why don't you go ahead and mute everybody so that I can get this done. But again, it's going to be comparing 2023 to 2024. So the other day, and like I said, Greg and Steve and Jay have heard some of this, but I've changed a little bit of it since we talked. I invented a new term as far as what I'm going to do for myself for marketing for 2024 for family estate docs. And I'm calling it systematic massive action. And we're going to take everything that we learned in 2023 and we're going to multiply it digitally. So first thing I wanted you to know is a couple of definitions. Definition of systematic is anything done or acting according to a fixed plan or system, methodically. A systematic search of the whole city would be an example of that. If we have systematic massive action, we need to understand what massive action is. And there's a title on my webpage, if you go to FTAP training, that talks about massive action. But I just wanted to define it for you. Massive action is a term used to describe the process of taking extraordinary and determined steps to achieve a goal. It means doing far more than the average person would do under the same or similar conditions, and going further than anyone would typically expect of you or of anyone else. Now, when I'm talking about taking massive action, I'm talking about if I figured out that it took me 10 approaches to get 7 sales and 3 back-end sales, then I already know that if it takes 10 to get the results I want, what happens if I go to 100? Or what happens if I go to 1,000? So and what I'm trying to do, and I've always told you all, we only want to do what we know works. So I have a system that works very well for those who are applying it. It means taking full ownership of whatever our problems are, whatever our mistakes and failures, and doing all I possibly can to fix them. And that's what we're going to do this year. So taking massive action is not a one-time thing, but something that you or we must do consistently and persistently with progressively increased levels of activity, desire, and effort to help you distinguish yourselves from others while building the momentum you need to achieve your goal. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means I'm trying my best to teach everybody how to hunt, and I'm trying to teach you how to do it at low cost using what I call the cycle of success. So in 2023, we've identified a group of suspects, and we need to filter them and identify where they are in their personal journey called an estate plan. It's their plan, it's our funnel. So when I say, hey, we need to identify who would benefit from a conversation with us, and I've said that all during 2023. There's the only major difference that I'm going to do in 2023 that's different from 2024 is, and I'm going to apologize I'm going to call you guys the class of 2023, but in the class of 2023, I did not convince you. A lot of you I did convince, and a lot of you done very, very well. But not everybody was totally convinced that implementing what we teach is appropriate or good for them, or what we teach has not been implemented at all. And what I'm looking to do, and I sent most of you an email today already, just to ask you where you are in the process. But that's going to be different in 24. My new licensees in 2024 are going to be asked to commit to the cycle of success before I even allow them to be licensees. Because I have to make the assumption that people are coming to me and my company and my staff to learn what works. not to apply what doesn't work to our system. So what I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to talk about you all. I'm going to call you all originators, and that's a licensee might purchase a marketing plan or have an existing market that identifies your suspects. Now, I have a lot of people say, "Hey, I have a lot of clients, and I can contact them." And a lot of people say, "I don't have any clients, and I need to start from scratch." And those are two different groups, although the process is the same. It's just you have to handle the approach differently. So once you've selected your suspects, they're either people who've done business with you in the past or people who have not done business with you in the past. Once you select them, don't let them grow cold. Keep them warm. Keep talking to them. The fact that they're reading your emails already means that they're engaged in a conversation with you. And as soon as they respond, they're even engaged on a more advanced level. But right now, if they're not blocking you, or if they're not unsubscribing, they're reading what you have to say. So, all these suspects, they have a base value because the licensee has determined, the licensee has determined that these people would benefit from a conversation about their current estate plan. I have to make the assumption that as one of my licensees, you are one of my licensees, or hopefully want to become one of my licensees. Once you make that determination, I have to make the assumption that it's true, that your professional opinion is that someone might benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. And that's going to be, you've heard it before. The only difference is going to be the class of 2024 is going to come in here to our company to learn what we do and to implement what we do. And I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm not real interested anymore in just people that just want to sit on the sideline and watch. If that's what you want to do, you're welcome. I want you to be here, but I need to spend my time with people who come to me and say, "Randy, help me implement your system because your system works." And I have to make the assumption that that's why you're here, or you already know what to do, and all you need is a unique mechanism called the Family Estate Doc software, and you can apply it yourself. My mission is for each licensee to make at least one sale every 60 days. And if someone's not making a sale every 60 days, I want to help. I want to figure out what is it that makes it so that you don't make a sale in 60 days. And most of the time it's implementation. So again, the difference between 2023 and 2024 is that I'm going to ask for a commitment from the new licensees who come in here on 2024 to follow the teachings of this company and the marketing program that works. And once a licensee agrees to do that, they'll get my full attention and my full time and my full effort. So
hang on a second. So yeah, I did many ruminations last night.
Okay, y'all hold your questions, and I'll let you ask questions here in a minute. Okay, I need to get through this, and then we'll come back to your questions. But success of this project will be determined by what we learn by applying systematic massive action to our list of suspects. If there are 130 licensees involved with this company, there should be a minimum of 1,300 approaches performed across the United States, minimum. And at the same time, I expect to add 300 or 400 more licensees this year. At the momentum that we're growing, it won't be impossible that that's what happens. And that means that my time as a president of the company is going to have to be spent with the people who are saying, "Mr. Baxter, your program works, and I need to learn a few things about it, and I'm going to implement everything that you have to say." And those folks who don't implement are not going to have my time. I can't afford to spend my time if you don't implement correctly. I'm building through Greg Davis and Steve a monitoring process that'll help you with your suspect list spreadsheet that includes the following categories. It's going to be suspect, prospect, client, advocate. It should be updated twice weekly on the licensee initiative. Now, what you have to decide as a licensee with my company is, are you part-time, full-time, or no time? So if you're full-time, you're going to look at this and you're going to say, Randy's showing me an easy path to make $250,000 this year. And the difference in 2023 and 24 is the 2024 licensees are going to say, Randy, I'm interested in you teaching me how to make a minimum of $250,000 this year. You folks that want to make $6,000 or $7,000 a year, that it's your choice, and that's okay. But that's not who I want to work with. So what I'm going to be teaching in 24 is the exact same thing I taught in 2023, except my expectations are going to be so much higher. So, a suspect, if you take a suspect and above the name, if you put it on a spreadsheet, and we as a team suspect these people to be able to benefit from a conversation with us about their current estate plan, I just wanted to make a note to all licensees. This is the first step. If this step is not implemented, the cycle is a failure. It's not the process that's the failure, it's the implementation of the process that creates failure. Or it's implementation of the process that creates the income that's desired and committed to now. I hope that makes sense. I don't see any sense in trying to teach something that I don't do or I don't know. And I've never told anybody that I would teach anything except what we know and what we do. So if you want to be a trained licensee will be able to build the bridge to convert the suspect to a prospect by convincing the suspect to have an estate review on a favorable basis. There's nothing rocket science about that. It just, and I've told you over and over and over, people want to be led through this process. And the more you practice it, the better at it you get. And people will give you that authority if you come across sincere and you come across professional. So at this point, if you've got your list of suspects and you're going to convert them to a prospect, you have to make a primary promise. You have to go in and say, I'm going to pick on Jeremy since you're here. Jeremy, I think you'd benefit from a conversation with me about your estate plan. And how can people react to that other than how would that be? Or yes, I might, or I need to do that. I haven't gotten around to it. Thank you for talking to me about it. I had a long talk with an email marketer this about middle of the day today. We were talking about several 100,000 emails out at one time. And he was calling prospect lead what I was calling suspect prospect. To him, a prospect is anybody who fit the avatar. And a lead was when they responded in a positive way and wanted to talk. Well, that's okay. And it's just two different words that mean the same thing. To me, his definition of a prospect is anybody who fits the avatar. To me, that's a suspect. And for him, when he says it's a lead, to me, it's not a fully developed lead. A lead is not confirmed. A prospect is a lead that's been confirmed. So if I teach sales, or if I teach, when I say I have certain behaviors that I know if I perform those behaviors, I get to make a trip to the bank, then I know I'm moving forward. So anyway, the definition of prospect is someone who's agreed to meet with you or us on a favorable basis to discuss their current estate plan. I'll be honest with you, nationwide, if you go out there and get somebody to agree to do that, as far as I'm concerned, they're talking to us, not just you. So So you have to know when to insert the family tree asset positioning go to first interview. You know, it doesn't matter if you sell stocks or bonds or insurance or annuities or banking systems or health insurance. You have to, your professional sense and your professional duty to your client, if they want to talk about estate planning, is to know when to insert the family tree asset positioning go to first interview. You have to know. So, and the other thing is you have to have your tools ready. Now, I've done this thing so many times that my tools, I've got most of them just in my head. I can do most of this on a piece of paper. And clients follow me and they like my fifth grade drawings. Okay. But if you're new at this, you need to have your agenda ready. I have my agenda ready anyway. You need to have your confidential ready to fill out. You need to have your sales presentation confidence. And the only way you're going to get that confidence is do it. And that's why the difference between 2023 and 2024 is I don't think I want to work with people who do not implement what we teach. And sometimes I feel like, okay, if you're a panel and you're sitting there and you're watching me and you're saying, this is interesting. It doesn't matter how interesting it is. I sent you an email a couple of weeks ago or about a week ago, and I talked to you about knowledge. And, knowledge does you no good at all to accumulate it unless you implement what you learn. So, some of you have been coming to class for 6 months and never implemented step one. And some of you have come here and implemented step one almost immediately and made some really nice sales real quick. So all I'm saying to you is if you'll just listen to what I have to say and try it, you might find big old piles of money laying around that you didn't know were there, that have always been there within reach. That you can help the people who own that money find their true purpose for that money by talking to them about their estate plan. When I close people, I always say the same thing. I always do the first interview. I always do the family tree. I always do everything. I do the approach. I always follow the steps. I know where my suspect, my prospect, my client is in the relationship, where they are in the pattern. And I also need to know, I also know when to close. And if you're closing on an estate plan, if you'll use the same closing technique, it's a power phrase. You've done a good job of your assets. Don't you think you should get the proper paperwork in force? There's 1,000 variations of that sentence, but if you don't lead up to, in your presentation, lead up to have the ability to say that one sentence, then you're not following the program. And all I need to know is if that's where you're struggling, that's what I need to teach you. You see, I think there are about 8 or 9 steps that you need to take in this process if you want to make $250,000 a year. And that tells me that if you had 10 suspects and take 10 suspects through those 8 steps, you're going to wind up with 3 back-end sales. If you are good enough at selecting your suspect. Now, if you're weak at selecting the suspect, that's not going to happen. Or if you're weak at selecting the suspect, you're not going to get the size commissions that I know are there if you follow this process. And see, I call that professional opinion. You have to depend on your professional opinion. So anyway, a client is someone who chooses to do business with us in some way. That's the definition of a client. So if they've already done business with you in the past, it's going to be the easiest sales presentation you ever made. It's going to be a comfortable cup of coffee. It's going to be a few giggles and a couple of laughs. You got to get to the front end sale first. And to do that, if you want to talk about estate planning, all you have to do is the go-to first interview. That is going to be a requirement for 2024. You know, I have to help you learn how to get to the first interview. Those of you who have not had the first interview yet, you're missing out on a great opportunity to make a lot of money and help your clients. And then when you do the first interview correctly, you'll get an estate plan sale, and then you'll get an opportunity to do the back end sale, which is the first sale is the income sale, and then you get all the future sales as they come. And you know what? You don't have to wake up every morning thinking, who am I going to sell to and who am I going to approach for a product? You're going to say, who am I going to approach for a process? So, you know, that takes us over back to the advocate, referring back to the family tree, getting referrals through advocacy. Advocacy repays the spent suspect list with a new persona. And some of y'all struggled with that in our last meeting right before Christmas. We talked about the difference between an avatar and a persona. And an avatar is the Greek model statue, like Plato said, the ideal person is a statue or what you think it is. And then when you find somebody who almost meets that statue, you can put their name on it, and that becomes a persona, someone who fits the model you're looking for. You know, I don't need to teach you the sales presentation if I haven't taught you how to identify a suspect and make them a prospect, but I will. So anyway, so I'm going to go back to my new phrase. This is my new terminology, systematic massive action. It works if you start with 10 suspects. It is a matter of the approach. That is all. It is just the approach. You learn what works for you. If you tell me what you think would work for you, I will sit down and spend hours with you to modify that and to shine that and polish it. And then I'm going to ask you to repeat it over and over and over. This is called building momentum. If I can teach you to build momentum, I cannot control your income. It'll be out of control. You'll be making so much money. So your success in this project is important to our teachings, to our licensees. You know, I'm not real interested in teaching a new licensee that it's okay to sit and be a wallflower on the side of the table and just gather knowledge, because it's okay with if that's what you want. But remember what I said, knowledge means nothing if it's just accumulated. It only has value when it's implemented. So that's why I keep saying, I'll go back to my old paintball days. I'll carry the flag. I'll show you what to do. I don't mind picking up the flag and running into the other side's team. Let me show you what to do. You know, to show why systematic massive action works in both categories. It works if you do business with people who've done business with you in the past, and it works with doing business with people who have not done business with you in the past. We just have to find out where you're the most comfortable and where you're the need it the most, and show you what we would do. I'm going to be interested to tell you, I'm not real interested in what you would do if you're not making much money. I want to show you what we do and teach you how to do it. That's the commitment that I'm looking for in our new licensees. And hey, you licensees who are just super good business people, that upper 10% or upper third, yeah, I love you too. You're easy. You know, you see what's going on and you see how easy this is. It's just, there's so many more people that could benefit from it who look at it and think it's hard. When if we can just get them to look at it right, they're going to say, that's not hard, it's easy. You know, if you need suspects, you know, if you do need suspects, why not nominate them to receive the state approved advanced care directive for your state as a gift? I mean, that's just something. Remember, we talked about TOMA, top of mind awareness. We're testing that out today. Went out today. We told 150 people that we're going to send them the advanced care directive, whether they need it or not. And you know what? A bunch of them are going to need it. So then we're going to follow it up with an educational email series by your firm or my firm, and we're writing the emails as we go. Jay and I and Greg and Steve have been and Lisa have been working on those all day today, putting them in order. And if you decide that that's what you want to do, all we got to do is come up with the names, and I'm going to show you how to come up with the names. And then we're going to ask you to implement what we've already tested. It can't get much easier than that. All I'm going to ask you to do is, if you agree to do it, then I'm going to ask you, okay, you agreed to do it, now do it. You know, let's learn from it. Let's get our nose busted. Let's figure out why what we did not work for you. Maybe you're doing something different. Maybe you're doing something not right. But if our process works numerically, it's probably going to work almost anywhere in the country. So the purpose is to get involved in conversations with your suspects. You don't have to get their permission. Just start talking to them. Get as many as possible into the estate planning process. Hey, I think you'd benefit from conversation with me about your estate plan. Or, by the way, would you like our free advanced care directive? As soon as they say yes or no, they're involved in a conversation with you about their estate plan. And because they're involved in it, they are now aware that you work in the estate planning industry. It's that simple. So at the same time, knowing we'll replace these names with new suspects through advocacy and adding our own new names to the list. So what I've done is I've set up a system where we're picking up referrals and adding new names to the list. You know, it's possible to purchase suspects on a persona level with their emails. Now, you all been doing that for years. If you're buying Medicare leads or age 65 birthdays or whatever, all you're doing is you're purchasing suspects on the persona level. That's it. So they all fit the proper avatar. If they all fit the proper avatar, then they're ready for systematic massive action. I think 1,000 people, if you line them all up, if they're 65 years or older and getting ready to retire, some of them have got relationship changes going on, some of them have got asset changes going on, and some of them got health changes going on. And all you got to do is find out which one of those things triggers their need to talk to you and their reasoning that they would benefit from a conversation with you. And in 2023, we didn't require that. In 2024, a new licensee needs to understand and needs to want to participate in our process, because that's what works. And the successful licensees who participate in our process are making good money, more than they were. So anyway, attaching a name to a avatar creates a persona, i.e. the suspect. According to the big mass mailers, the prospect, but we're still going to stick to it. They're suspects because they haven't agreed to talk to us yet. So using this approach, we should see a low-cost, measurable marketing plan take form. I know the law of large numbers. It will take form, and the numbers will run true. You know, there's no reason for me to take on a student or take on a licensee if the mission is not to improve what they're doing or make it easier. One, I'd like to improve their income. If we can't improve their income, we just like to make it easier. That's all. You know, so my goal for each licensee is to develop the correct number of new suspects that can efficiently be handled by the licensee at any level the licensee wants to pursue. That means even you folks that think that it's okay to sell one case every 5 or 6 months, if that's where you want to be, I'm happy for you. You'd sure be a whole lot easier to double than some of the other folks. You know, but don't come to me and ask me to let you apply your system to our process. I don't know how to do that. What I'm telling you is what I know. It's what I do, and it works. So it's a roadmap to the cycle of success. That's it's just that simple. Okay. Now, the roadmap that I'm going to work with doesn't include the back end sale. I'm going to have to teach you how to do the back end sale. But I don't want to spend time teaching you the back end sale if I can't get you to implement the front end approach. You know, if you want to learn the back end sale, just tell me. I'll introduce you to the folks that I work with, and you won't have to worry about me. It'll be okay. I will even show you how to do it. You know, the back end sale is the basis of all exponential growth in the estate planning business. If you're going to enter the market, don't enter the market to increase the volume of the number of estate plans you sell. Enter the market, if you want to do it correctly, to increase the number of the back end sale. And if you read my book, Approach, Plan, Succeed, and go back to the back of it and look at the 4 stages of estate planning, if you're in stage 4, and I'm trying to demonstrate stage 4 to you by putting Steve Holmes and Greg Davis and Jay Cadlick and Lisa DeRuiter in front of you all, so you can see what a stage 4 estate planning company looks like. It's massive. It's strong. So I'll help you with each back end sale if you ask. And each back end sale will be discussed as produced for commission splits. I don't want commission splits, unless you work me to death. I will teach you how to not need to split a commission with anybody. I don't need you to split a commission with me, but I don't want to do your job. I've got my job to do. So if I close your back end sale, my expectation is that you will not need the help and deserve 100% of the commission if you close the sale yourself. Let me teach you how to close the back end sale. I'm going to repeat that. If I close the back end sale for you, we have to do it through an LOA contract. We'll run the commissions through me and we'll distribute it to you. I don't think that's what you all want. That's or need. What my expectation is that you want to come into this and learn the back end sale and learn how to get there. What good did it do Dorothy and the Scarecrow to know there was an Oz unless they figured out a way to get there? And the Scarecrow said some people go both ways. You can go any direction you want. So, and what I need you to be aware of is our primary promise is correct. The whole basis of our company has one primary promise. People will benefit from a conversation with us about their current estate plan. That's it. We have one primary promise and one go-to first interview. No reason to learn anything else until you master that, and then you need to learn everything else. So those things that you learn are not primary promises, they're unique mechanisms. And a unique mechanism, the first one is the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview. Y'all have heard me sing the praises of it. I'm going to do 18 of those this week for licensees who asked for a personal demonstration. I went ahead and booked the whole week, starting tomorrow. And I'll have 18 of our licensees who want me to perform the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview personally with them on them. And then the next thing, the most unique mechanism is the family estate doc software. Steve's here to teach you. We've recorded the how to use the software over and over and over. It's on FTAP training. And if you want some personalized attention, you can either have it from me or from Greg or from Jay or from Steve. Steve's the best at it. He's got the most experience at it. The income for life presentation. That's where you make the average $5,000 to $20,000 on the back end sale. And it's canned and it's written for you. And we put it together for you if you want us to. You don't have to do it our way. And then the funding process. In the funding process, you may be working with real estate, you may be working with long-term care, you may be working with income, Social Security, with health insurance and assets and taxes, and what more would you want? The opportunity to talk about all of it within this one system, and then do annual reviews and advocacy approaches. One suspect should replace itself with 4 suspects, 3 or 4 suspects, easy. So, so, you know, I just want to review with you what our process will be. And this is what we're going to be asking our 2024 licensees to agree to. And I want to apologize to those of you in 2023 who never had the opportunity to agree to it. I'm going to ask you to agree to it if you want to. I won't force you to. I just want you to agree to it. That way, I know I can take non-productive licensees and turn them into productive high-income wage earners for their families, which is what I want to do. So anyway, our process will be taking an unaware suspect and making them aware of the need to complete their estate plan. That's the first step. And everybody's walking around unaware. Some people know that, they need to do it. They just haven't done it yet. Then we're going to take that unaware person and help them be aware and help them gather the data they need to make a decision to pursue completion. That's what your mission is. And you know what? If they say no, it's no skin off your back. It just hurts their family. It's not your fault. It's not your problem. So we want to teach you how to help the suspect decide which option is best. Is it a will, a trust, or a government plan called probate? If you have that discussion with people about relationship changes, asset changes, and health changes, it helps establish a need to complete the estate plan. And they will come to that conclusion logically. And if you do it correctly and innocently enough and professionally enough, they'll decide to do it with you. All you got to do, they're just waiting on you to ask. And the way to ask them is to say, hey, you've done a pretty good job with your assets. Don't you think you need to go ahead and set up the proper paperwork? Well, how could they say no? How can they say no when they're sitting there in front of their wives or husbands and talking about their children? How can they say no? They can't say no unless they don't want to do business with you or if they don't have any money. So anyway, I have a minimum goal for the 90-day plan for you. It should be, all I'm asking you to do each month, in any given 1 month, work on your business hard enough to come up with 10 people that you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their estate plan. That's not that hard. 10 people. When you people tell me you don't have anybody, I don't know what to think about that, but I hear it a lot. It's not true. So nationwide, what I'm saying to people, because we're going to have a lot of licensees coming in, there has to be a policy statement. Nationwide, the licensee will do the go-to first interview. We're not going to force you to, but if we teach you how to get there, that's what you ought to do. It's the first interview. The go-to first interview. There's nothing better than the go-to first interview. So I'm trying to define my role and your role and everything like that. The success risk of this project is assumed by the licensee. We can't. Nobody can make you successful or change your economic life. We can teach you what to do, but if you'll just follow our directions and apply our process, we'll help monitor. We'll monitor it with you, and we'll be a third-party advisor. But what we've learned in the past will be offered to our licensees. Quality control on entering the information in the software for delivering is available on demand and in the back-end sale delivery stage. We'll coach you through every bit of that. I can't come up there and make the appointment for you. That's why I want to spend my time teaching you how to make that first appointment. Because once you make that first appointment, it's all downhill. Excuse me, the hardest part is getting over the fear of getting rejected and me teaching you something that means you won't get rejected. You can't get rejected if you do it right. So in the meantime, while we're trying to teach you that, in January and February, I'm going to be implementing our recruiting program for new licensees nationwide. they will get our list of expectations in advance. We won't try to sell them on it after they become a licensee. That no longer will that be policy. From now on, policy is let's show them how good we are and why they want to make this decision and get them to agree to follow the path. I'll be implementing a workshop program with another licensee on the workshop level using a marketing program through a nonprofit and local libraries, which Greg and I are working on right now to choose a location. That's on the retail level. Okay. So not only are we working on the wholesale level, we are also working on the retail level to help licensees follow the path they want to take. This particular licensee wants to do webinars or seminars. So week one in January, that's this week, I'll be darned. We will be teaching sales presentation with licensees, observing me and making the presentation. That's what you all asked for 2 weeks ago. And I said, every one of you all can make an appointment. And there were about 40 of you here and 18 of you, after 40 of you fussed at me, 18 of you actually made an appointment. That's great. At the same time, while we're teaching people the presentation, we have automations going that we have built in December that are doing the groundwork for us while we're doing something else. And those automations are seeking opportunities to have the go-to first interview, and that's being spearheaded by Jay Cadlick. And we're showing, we're making the approaches, and he's following what we say do, so that we can report to you all what our results are. And we're going to use the 90-day. We're going to use the cycle of success using a 90-day plan. We're going to review it every 30 days. That's what we've been saying to you. And Jen, I know you're out there, and when you looked at you were surprised that my 90-day plan was nothing but a spreadsheet. And it traced people through the process. And the end result at the end of that spreadsheet were numbers, and those numbers represented dollars, actual. And that's, we can project when our income's going to come in. We can project how much it's going to be. And we've got our momentum going so that it stays 90 to 120 days ahead. Wouldn't it be nice if you could look at your friends and family and say, here's what our income's going to be in April? It's guaranteed. We've already done the work. So and this is a list. If you want it, I'll send it to you. But this is the list of the emails, what we're saying to people. And you're welcome to these emails. All you got to do is copy and paste the verbiage and put it on your letterhead and follow it up and implement it. Now, it won't do you any good to know it exists. That's knowledge. It will only do you good if you take that knowledge and implement it. And find the time how to work it into your calendar. And if it's worked into your calendar and you've lived up to your own calendar, that's what'll happen. So let's take a look at the email I sent out this morning. Okay. I sent it to you. All of you have it. And I'm going to do it by memory. I'm not going to try to pull it up right this minute. But you all got an email that talked to you about the first step. And step one, and if you're taking notes, take notes. Step one is identify your suspect. And if you're having trouble identifying your suspect, that's what you need to say to me. Okay? Because there's a difference between identifying a suspect and approaching them. There's a difference between identifying a suspect and approaching than identifying a suspect and failure to approach. What good does it do? What good does it do to send me a list of 10 names that you're not going to follow up on? That takes time from me that I don't want you to have. Does that make sense? I want you to go in and say, I had a problem implementing, and this was my problem. And I'm going to say, let's work on that issue. Let me tell you what I did when I ran into that problem. That's the best way for me to teach you. I promise you, I've had every problem you're ever going to think about. So step one is you have to identify the suspect. And step two, you have to approach them. If you're stuck on the approach, just say so. I'll get you through it. If you're making the approach and you're stuck on building the bridge from the suspect to the prospect, just say so. I'll show you what I do. It gets me through it. If you are having problems with setting the appointment for the prospect, talk to me. But then if you're making the appointment and not getting the sale, tell me. And it's probably something that you're doing not incorrectly or inefficiently. Let's find out what it is you're doing, because that means hundreds of thousands of dollars to you in the next decade. If you're not selling an estate plan when you go, it's because you're probably not handling the family tree asset positioning go to first interview correctly, because it's the yellow brick road. If you are selling the estate plan and not getting the back end sale, tell me, share that with me, because there's probably something wrong with your close, but it's probably the mistake is being made in the sales presentation right at the income presentation level when you're talking about sure things and maybes and gaps and cliffs. If they are not sold or disturbed on those four simple words, you probably don't have a good chance to the back end sale. Most people, if you do it correctly, are very disturbed with the gaps and the cliffs and the sure things and the maybes when they apply their health situation to it and find out that one of them's a little closer to the cliff than the other. Does that make sense? I hope so. So, each step that we're talking to you, and all you got to do is pull up your email from me this morning and look at it. And be honest with me. If you say, Randy, please take me to the next level of my income, I can't snap my fingers and do it. I have to find out where you are in that process and what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong and what's working and what's not working. So, when we talk about 2023 versus 2024, I'm very pleased. We sold over 165 estate plans in 2023. That's cooking. That's strong. But we did that with less than 100 average licensees and only about 47 or 48 actively producing. The others sitting on the sidelines watching. What if we had had the commitment from all those people to follow the process? And you know what? We don't charge extra to teach. Once you become a licensee for family estate docs, everything else is free. Unless you have some names. And that's just where you are. That's not for me to buy you names. It's not for me to come up with your names. It's for me to teach you how to find them. So anyway, I'm going to go over here and take some questions. Let me see if I can do it without losing anybody. I'm going to punch the chat button. And okay. And Felicia, I think you have an appointment scheduled to do that. You and I are going to you and I are going to do the presentation together. I'm going to do it with you and on you so that you can see what's going on. And then Greg Davis and I are going to film it. Okay. I told you 2 weeks ago we'd do that. We've had a holiday get in. I told you first before I was going to perform it for everybody that I was going to perform it for the individuals who wanted the individual attention. You're going to get the individual attention first. Okay. Looks like Michael Adams, you want the list and the email info. Okay, send me an email request saying that that's what you want. We have what I figured out right now, access to found a company right now. We have 333 million names that we can go in and segment to the avatar that you want. I'm very, very glad to find that, and I think it's very affordable. We'll talk about it. What else we got on here?
Slide up.
What qualifies as a suspect? That's Jake. Where do we get these from? Well, that's an interesting question. A suspect is anyone you think would benefit from a conversation with you about estate planning. And the very first place you might want to do is sit down at the dinner table and not look around. And then if you don't see anybody there, look out the window and look at your neighbors. And if you don't see anybody there, look at the people you do business with. And if you don't see anybody there, look at the people that have done business with you in the past. If you don't see anybody there, we're going to take you down and get you some glasses, because you are surrounded by people that need to have this conversation. Literally surrounded. Somebody's asking, what CRM are you using? Mike, I'm so old school. I've got a spreadsheet, and I keep a record of what's going on. And on that spreadsheet, I have the policy anniversaries of my clients and how much they have invested. And I make annual reviews, and I get referrals from them. And most of my sales come from my clients because I do the advocate presentation. I ask them to tell me who they think who might be having a relationship change or an asset change or a health change in their lives, and if those people might benefit from a conversation with me about their estate plan. See how simple I am? You know, I just know one way to do things, and I sure don't want to change it because it's not broke. See another one here. So CRM, we are getting ready to go to Coaches Console. We are getting ready to go to Active Campaign for the CRM. We're discussing that in our company right now because our company's growing so fast. I can't keep it all in my head anymore. Let's see. But it's not, you know what, I will tell you this. It's not what CRM am I using. It's what CRM are you using? Because it doesn't matter to me what CRM is going on. If those people have done business with you in the past, then you should be able to segment. You should be able to pull the people out that fit the avatar. So, you know, and Mike, I understand that you're in another industry. You're, you know, and we've talked about having the dual persona, the dual personality of being in two different industries. And if you're approaching people in your industry, approach them about looking at what you did with your estate plan, because you're in the same industry they are. They need to know. They need to know. I think one of the ones we're looking at is Go High Level. It doesn't have that name. It's a white label company. So Jake, you've asked the question, how do you find the appropriate list? We have to identify the avatar first. Then we have to find out the geographic area that you want to cover. And then we can go into, if you need people that have not done business with you in the past, we can pull them out geographically by age, by zip code, by investments, by household ownership. We can do all those things. And then all we have to do after that, that's the easy part. The hard part is deciding on what approach and having the guts and the tenacity and the focus to approach them. And not to worry about it when you get told no, because you got to have a pile of no's before you get to a yes, and the yeses are very profitable. Somebody else asked here, Jake, you already have clients from any other source. That's Jen. Okay. And then Jen, you're absolutely right. So, and Jerry, I can see there, your tax clients, friends, family, or find cold prospects, drip mailing conversations, you know, and you know, I'll help. And if you say I need 1,000 people to run through in the month of February so that I can get 10 good names, I'll say, great. I'd also say, well, you're probably exaggerating your need, but that's okay. And it looks like there's even 2 new messages on here, Ryan. Yes, there are plenty of lead generation programs out there, but all you need is some basic marketing to create a sales funnel. That's absolutely correct. But what you really need is tenacity, focus. Go down here a little bit further. Cynthia, do you have a question? You can turn your speaker on now.
Well, I did do I closed a sale over the holiday, and I have 4 appointments set up so far, and I'm making some more calls today.
Okay, and here's what I'm going to say to you, Cynthia. You ready?
Yes.
It's okay to have 4, but you need to have 7.
I'm working on it. When I get off the call, I'll make some more calls.
Okay, so here's and I've talked to you many times, and here's what I would say to you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Build your momentum.
Okay.
Okay. And whatever it took you to do to get 4, whatever it is, write it down and double it.
Okay.
Double that effort. That's that's the effort. Whatever you had to overcome to get those 4, double the overcome it twice as much.
Okay.
Okay. Who do I market to outside of my sphere of influence? Who do I market to outside of my sphere of influence? Well, first of all, I would ask you, why would you leave your sphere of influence? Okay, because that's where it's easiest. Okay, and then if you work your sphere of influence correctly and do the advocacy talk that we teach, people will volunteer the names of people they know without you spending any money. But all I would say to you is, please don't ask me to teach you that if I can't get you to make 10 approaches. I don't want to teach you step 7 or step 8 if I can't get you to learn step 1. It does no one any good, because the reason people want to talk about step 6, 7, and 8 is because they are uncomfortable or unwilling to do step 1. You should get to step 6, 7, or 8 in 6 or 7 days if you do it correctly. I hope that answers your question. But Ryan, yeah, my question for a lot of you is, hey, what's taking you so long? What is it? Why are you comfortable where you are? If you know that you want to learn something new, and there's a yellow brick road right in front of you with somebody who's been all the way up and down the road many times, who's willing to pick up the flag and say, follow me. This is the way to go. This is what works. This will get you to the long-term care sale. This will get you to the index annuity income rider sale. This will get you to the life insurance sale. This will get you to the assets under management. This will get you to infinite banking. It'll get you to everything. One interview, one approach. So it says, get referrals and introductions from your sphere. If you have 100 people in your sphere, that's someone talking. Who's that there? Is that you, Jeremy? Okay. Yeah, okay. So you're absolutely right. There's enough people on this in this webinar right now that have a wealth of information and experience that can help any of us. Or and I'll be honest with you, there's nobody learned more in 2023 than Randy Baxter. Nobody learned more how to implement marketing procedures for estate plan than the people teaching it. And we've seen all kinds of problems. Okay. Most of the time, it's just refusal to implement. That's it. Okay. And that either means that there's no belief in the system, or no need to implement, or you don't feel comfortable implementing it. I mean, it's got to be one of those three. I had one licensee told me that health was an issue last year. Well, that's great. And you know what? If I had known that, if you had just talked to me, I would have shown you I would have talked to you about what I did when I was in the hospital with COVID for 3 months. And the doctor told me I wasn't going to live through the night. And when I came home crippled in 2020 with oxygen up my nose, I knew I had to take massive action to keep things going. So it's okay if you have a health problem. Talk to me about it. I happen to have survived it and done it. And you know what? My income went up. And it's because we multiplied the number of times that we did things digitally, and it created the environment for us to make the sales we needed to make or wanted to make. Okay, so if you need tenacity, call me. I'll give you a dose of it. Okay. Anyway, are there any other questions? You know, all I'm trying to say to you is the difference between 2023 and 2024. Or I'm going to communicate, and I'm going to apologize to you in 2023 and tell you that I was not clear on what my expectations were. And my expectations are that I will teach you what I know and I will teach you what I do. And if you ask me to do that, I expect you to implement step one with all your heart. And if you can't do that, you don't even have to tell me. I'll already know it. All I have to do is look down and see who's making sales and who's not. And when I look down and see that if someone's not making, if you're not making a sale in 60 days, your heart's not in it. And I'm looking for people with heart. I'm looking for people that look at me and say, let me follow you. Let me lead you. I mean, please lead me to a new life. Lead me to a new economic situation. Lead me to a sales presentation that I can use the rest of my career. Folks, I'm 70 years old. My career's not that, doesn't have that many years left in it. And no one taught me those things. And for those of you who are struggling right now, you got to go read Who Moved My Cheese, The Four Mice, Him and Haw. What were the other two names? But one mouse decided that if somebody moved his cheese, he was going to start looking for more, and he was going to be aware that cheese gets moved, and he's going to plan for it. And to do that, he needed to have access to new information where cheese might be. That's people who have not done business with you in the past. But there's two of those mice, Him and Haw. You ever heard the phrase him and haw? They're hemming and hawing. Okay, whining and moping and complaining and refusing to accept the fact that cheese gets moved. I just want to suggest to you, build your own supply of cheese. And know that the mice are going to get in and get some of it. But if you're good at building your own supply of cheese, you're always going to have cheese. Are there any more questions out there? And then again, for class of 2023, some of you, a lot of you, have stupendous. A lot of you watched us do it. To those who watched us do it, I apologize for not asking you to commit to a system that works. I will tell you, I will not make that mistake this year. I will find if people, I'm going to be able to tell by the questions I'm going to ask them, if they're sitting there doing nothing after 60 days, I'm going to be so busy with folks that are going to do something in 60 days. I can't have a lot of time, and I can't spend a lot of resources on people that can't put this package together and start making sales in 60 days. Let me help. Let me show you what to do. I'll do anything I can. Okay. But for the 2024, I won't be asking to help. I'll have expectations that they do. And I think that's going to bring a whole lot more sales into the company. It's going to bring a whole lot more production in on the average production per licensee, because it's going to be the people that want to work are going to commit and say, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to follow. And what I'd mess up on, you're going to help me learn. So anyway, what else we got going? Can't believe it took us 2 computers to make this happen today. But I have no idea what it is. My only way to solve it was to turn my computer off and turn it back on. And that didn't work. So, look, I see faces that are friends that you know. I'm really glad you're here. I will tell you that I sent this email invitation out to 1,600 people. 478 opened the email to read that this meeting was going to be held today at 3:00. I think the maximum number we had here this hour was 43. Okay, so if we have 16, if we have 2,000 names or 1,500 names, maybe we can expect a third of them to be interested, and 1/10 of that third will show up. And so maybe if I want 80 people next time, maybe I need to send that invitation out to 3,200 instead of 1,600. You know, maybe I'll just try that and see if it works and talk to you about it next week. Next week, I think Greg Davis and I are going to be performing the sales presentation. We're going to film it real life so that you all can see it and hear it. But, you know, thank you, Mr. Bernberg, Jacob. If seeing the presentation, you know, here's what I'm going to say. You guys that are expecting me and said you're going to wait till you see the sales presentation. Once you see the sales presentation, I'm going to ask you to commit. I'm going to say, why not implement? Or what is it about this sales presentation do you feel like you cannot master? Okay. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's the truth. So, you know, if you want to be audience, be audience. We like an audience. It's not a very good return on your investment to be an audience. Come be a player. Get your nose broke every once in a while. Learn what happened and fix it. And then start making money. 10, 7, 3, 1 equals $20,000 a month on average. 20 times 12 is $240,000. That's as close to $250,000 as I can guess. If you want to make $250,000 this year, all you need is 10 people each month that you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their estate plan. If those 10 people don't work, let's find out why. If you got them down there in the skid row hiding behind a barrel, that's your fault. That's not my fault. Okay, because I need to depend on your professional opinion and your selection of people that might benefit from a conversation with you about their estate plan. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. One more. Jeremy, you got anything you want to say? I appreciate you showing up with us today.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm glad I could make it over here finally for once. No, I mean, the marketing for this is very simple, guys. This is not, we're not marketing, you know, selling Doritos. We're marketing a estate plan. We're marketing a solution to a problem. So the whole gist of everything we have to do, same in life insurance, same in annuity sales, is to create a conversation. If you can create an active conversation with anybody you talk to, you can spin a prospect. You can create a persona for them in a lot of different ways. But, you know, I know Mike asked me about marketing in the chat. You know, what I teach my agents and my advisors, you know, to create conversations is to send 25 heartfelt letters a week. Low cost marketing, 25 letters, follow the phone call the following week, and create the conversation. That's all you have to do. You know, in the ways I teach my life insurance sales, the guys I teach their agents, you know, the average commission we generate is about $4,000 per household. All right. So with this, you know, the estate planning, you're generating $1,000 or more per household in revenue, right? Plus the back end sale. So if you can average $4,000 a sale, 50 cases a year, you make over $200,000 a year without breaking a sweat. It's all about creating the conversation. That's all I have, Randy.
Okay, well, I just now noticed Joshua Dawkins, bring on a great year where we can help people and make good money. Josh, I'm going to ask you to change that. I want to ask you to say, I am going to bring on a great year through implementation of what we teach. And listen, don't be afraid to mess up. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to lose a sale. Every one of those have a dollar value. I promise you. Anything else?
Randy,
Yes, ma'am.
so the gentleman that was just speaking, Mr. is it Nason? Nason?
Hmm?
Jeremy?
Hmm?
So is there a way to get the information, the letters that you send out to
Yeah, just send me a message in the chat with your email address. And I'll be
Okay.
happy to send you the file on how to do it, as
Okay.
well as my information for you need to talk about it and go through the process.
All right, thank you so
The same thing, Cynthia, listen to me a minute.
Yes.
Your heartfelt letter should be your primary promise. Your primary promise is that you think that person would benefit from a conversation with you about their estate plan. You have it all. You do not need to
Okay.
wait or get anything from anybody.
Okay.
You pretend like you're Dorothy and click your red ruby heels and go
Okay.
there.
Yes, sir. All
I mean,
right.
it's that easy, you know. But you know, there's no difference between heartfelt and a primary promise.
Okay.
You know, your primary promise in estate planning is already done for you. You know, if you want to put it in a birthday card, if you want to put it on a greeting card or a postcard with a dog on it, it doesn't matter. Open the conversation, like Jeremy said. Just open the conversation.
Okay.
Okay, so Kim, you want the letters? We'll send you those letters, and Jeremy and I are still working on them, and we ought to be finished with them today. I'm not Jeremy, Jay, and we're testing them right now. The first unit, the first automation went out today, and we told them last week that they were going to get a gift in the mail today, in the email, and that gift was going to be the Tennessee approved advanced directive. The state of Tennessee approved one. And once they have that, how can they say no that they, you know, if we contact them, how can they not thank us for that, even if they didn't need it? That all of a sudden that opens the conversation. You know, I sent it to you because I thought maybe you might benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan.
And
You
I'm in
can't
the
get much more
process of,
heartfelt. I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying, I'm in the process of getting all those advanced directives for all the states so that if you need it for your particular state, you're not in Tennessee, I'll be more than happy to send you the link so that you can attach it to an email or print it off and send it in a paper deal. But you know, the big thing is whatever letter you send out to your suspects, if it comes from your heart, it's going to be a lot easier for you to follow up on. If it's somebody else's letter, they may not say exactly what you want to or how you want to say. You know, I think you could benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan.
Thank you, Greg. That will be, yes.
So now, also in this meeting right now are several people that we have promoted to master licensee. You know, we have expectations from you too. We don't want you teaching people what you're doing. We want you teaching people what we're doing. We want you to share with them the Yellow Brick Road. We want you to share with them our primary promise. We want you to use our unique mechanisms because ours work. So don't modify them. Don't do anything with them. Just use them. Eddie Taylor, you got a question? No? All right. And
see you tomorrow.
Jennifer Lee, we've got the California Advanced Care Directive. And if you get time, why don't you make an appointment and let's talk again, Jennifer? I'd like to talk to you a little bit. And
We have an
and
appointment
Chris-
tomorrow, Randy. I'll see you then.
Okay, all right. And then Chris Egan, I appreciate you coming in too. And when you say the link, are you talking about the Advanced Care Directive link? I think Chris, you're in. Are you in Texas or California? Florida. Yes, I'll be in Florida next week. Michael, I hope you are too. Next week, I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale, learning more about the income sale with Simplicity, and all my friends down there. And every time I go down there, I go down there with an open mind and I learn a little bit more. And my income always goes up. It's funny. I go down there, get recharged, come back, make more money. So I will invite every one of you all. There's going to be another one in Las Vegas in May, and I'm thinking about doing a boot camp right that day before that Simplicity does their boot camp or their meeting. I'm going to do a boot camp at the same hotel, probably the same room, to talk about estate planning. So those of you who are looking for a boot camp out in Nevada and Las Vegas, I think that's going to happen in May. So anyway, what else we got? Lots of talent in our company right now, lots of experience at different things. Greg's a great business administrator. Steve's a great teacher on the software. Lisa's good with our technology. And Jay is our point man for the retail sale. So anyway, and Elisa, I'd like to hear from you too, because you've got a lot of opportunity, I think, down there in Texas. All right. Anything else? Listen, I hope you all see the difference between what I want for 23 and what I want for 24. It's going to raise the quality of our licensee. Be one of them. I hope you are. Y'all take care. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Lisa. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye.